And good evening. Welcome to Election Night at the Oklahoman. I'm Dave Morris.
And I'm Angie Bruss. We have crews at both the Republican and Democratic watch parties tonight. We spoke with the Oklahoman's Carrie Coppernall over at the Marriott in Northwest Oklahoma City earlier tonight. She mentioned a diverse crowd was on hand.
Now let's go to the Oklahoman's Ken Raymond, where it sounds like there's a party going down in downtown Oklahoma City at the Skirvin Hotel.
How are you doing, Ken? It sounds like a lot of people are happy there. How big is the crowd at the Skirvin?
You know, it's really hard at this point to even estimate how big the crowd is. I know earlier we were saying about 400, but I think it's really been dwarfed by that by now.
Wow.
If you just look around here and listen to what I'm hearing, you can tell there's a party going on.
Yeah, you definitely can. Now, are you seeing a wide age range there?
You know, Angie, I'm not entirely sure what you asked me. I think you asked me if I'm seeing you asked if I'm seeing a wide variety of people here. And if so, yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing all kinds of people, all of them pretty much with a smile on their face, and all of them happy to be here.
All right, so who have you talked to out there?
You know, it may not be right to say that we talk to anybody, because this screaming has pretty much been going on all night. It's been more like yelling at people. And along those lines, we yelled at Governor David Baldwin, former governor. We yelled at Nathaniel Batchelder, the director of the Peace House, and we yelled at a number of people just out here enjoying the party.
Great, great. Now, any reaction from the crowd to early results? Now, McCain won Oklahoma, but are Obama fans optimistic about winning the overall race?
The Obama fans are out of control right now. I mean, it's amazing out here, just the noise, the intensity. A little while ago, I was sitting here typing up, and I looked over, and there were all kinds of people just dancing, standing on chairs, dancing, having a great time.
Oh, great.
It's an amazing scene out here.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like you're having a good time, too. And obviously, thank you so much for that report, Ken. Ken Raymond at the Democratic Watch Party. Thanks for your time and expertise.
And earlier this evening at the Skirvin, Ken spoke with 3 young voters for their perspective.
With me are a few young ladies who are very excited with the news that Obama's been winning some of these states, or at least is a projected winner. Bree, tell me about this. Why are you so excited?
I'm just excited to see something different, and I really think that Senator Obama has a lot of positive things for the people of the United States.
How about you? What's with all the buttons?
Well, it's because I've been an avid supporter of Senator Obama ever since 2004 when he won the Illinois Senate seat. And I've always wanted him. I was like, oh, that'd be cool if he, ran for president one day. And I mean, it's actually happening, and it just excites me. It's like a lot of excitement. And
Tell me about the atmosphere here. Everybody's going crazy.
It's great to see it. I'm from Texas, and there's a ton of Republicans there, so it's so great to see this many Democrats in one place at one time. It's amazing.
All right, but as expected, Oklahoma voted Republican overall. However, Barack Obama fared better, it appears, than the previous Democratic presidential nominee back in 2004, John Kerry. Kerry didn't win a county. Let's check out the current numbers on newsok.com. It looks like McCain's got about a 64% to 35% edge here in Oklahoma.
Now, voter turnout in Oklahoma was strong. Oklahomans went to the polls early. Some 13,000 ballots were cast Friday, Saturday, and Monday, and another 20,000 absentee ballots were mailed.
Joining us in the studio again tonight, Ed Kelly, editor of the Oklahoman. And Ed, we've seen a lot of Oklahomans engaged in the political process today, and perhaps that's in part from the economy, which has become the focus of the presidential race.
Dave, you're right. I think the economy had a lot to do with it. But let's face it, when people went to the polls this morning here in Oklahoma, one of the reddest states in the country, I think everyone had a pretty good sense this was going to be John McCain country by the end of the night. But still, people were engaged. Certainly the economy, as you suggested, had a lot to do with it. But I think people turned out as well because of the historic nature of this race with both an African American and a woman on the 2 tickets. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to today, Dave, who waited an hour, hour and a half, even 2 hours in line to vote in this election. And despite what easily will be record turnout here in not only Oklahoma City but throughout the state, I think the voting procedures went fairly well today. There were a few snafus, but really not very many. So hats off to our fellow Oklahomans tonight for a really good showing. Now, recently I had a chance to speak with Bob Rader. He's the Executive Vice President, Capital West Securities here in Oklahoma City. He talked with me about the economy and his advice for all of us. Joining me this evening is Bob Rader, Executive Vice President of Capital West Securities here in Oklahoma City. The state of the economy has made national and international news in recent months. Many voters, Bob, as you know, are concerned about what the future may hold. In light of the turmoil in the financial markets in recent weeks, what will be the biggest challenges facing our new president regarding the economy?
Ed, I think that the first thing that will have to happen is the new president will have to go and rebuild confidence in the American system. Right. We've had this credit crunch. Nobody can borrow money. Banks not lending to banks. People can't buy cars. Credit is just at standstill, and we've never seen anything like this before. So I think it'll be up to the new president and his administration to go and get that taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk then about investors. What should investors, and Bob, you know better than I do, most people in this country are investors these days. What should they demand to see from the new administration?
I think there's several things. We've got to eliminate wasteful spending. I think that has been one thing. Concerned about inflation and or deflation now, but inflation is the big thing. I think people's real concern is, am I going to outlive my money?
Right.
The people that are in retirement, I think one of the things that's really concerned is their 401ks. I've spent all these years putting money in for retirement, children's education, or just living. And is it safe? Is it going to sustain myself going forward?
Right. Is it different then for, say, a 30-year-old and a 60-year-old, or are their demands from the administration basically the same?
I think that the 30-year-old, they have a lot of time.
Right.
The one thing that people should not do, should not quit contributing to their 401k. Don't panic. Don't pull the money out. Let time, because time will take care of it. Americans pulled it out before and we'll do it again. We're just in a very critical time, but don't let fear, don't let concern, and certainly don't let panic set in.
What about that 60-year-old?
That 60-year-old is that I think the preservation of capital is the first thing they ought to concern themselves with. And the one thing I think they should do, everybody should do, is seek help from whatever professional financial person they have, be it their bank, be it their broker, be it financial planner. Sit down and say, look, this is what I've got. What shall I do? And at least get themselves relieved to a point, I call it the sleeping point, where they're not walking the halls at night.
Right. But for most people, it's the old FDR line, all we have to fear is fear itself.
That's correct. In fact, if I can tell this little story, that I've been voting now 51 years, started in 1956, and out of 51 years, the market's been down 8. So the thing is, time will pull us out of this. But the thing is, people should be concerned. Sure, they should be concerned, but fear, no.
Bob Rader, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
And Ed, thanks for that interview. Bob Rader, always good to hear from. Well, Angie, you spoke with Oklahomans about campaign finance.
I sure did. And according to the Associated Press, the presidential candidates together, they raised $1 billion on their campaigns this year. That equals $8 a vote. Now, I've asked Oklahomans if they thought that was too much and what they thought about the campaign spending given the economic times.
Do you think that they've spent too much money, especially with the economy as bad as it is right now?
Oh, probably not. There's a lot of people to reach and a lot of issues to address, and so sure, it'd be great if it was less, but they got to do what they have to do.
Nope, too much. They spend way too much money on it.
I don't think so. I mean, over the years, it's going to be probably even more of expense unless we went to public funding. So I think it's the wave of the future.
I don't think so. I mean, it is what it is.
No, I think that they have to do what they have to do to win the election, or, and if it's spending what they spend, then, do what you have to do.
I have no idea. I don't know the numbers, and I think they spend too much money on TV advertisement and radio advertisement because I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. But
I think it is what it is, but I also have to say that if we elect a president based on who spends the most money on their campaign, I think we're going in the wrong direction for sure.
Well, it sounds like some mixed opinions there. Some people are saying they spent too much money, and other people are saying no, they have to do what they have to do. So it's interesting.
Lots going on, and of course, News OK, a great way to follow it. Be sure to sign up for text alerts for your cell phones for the latest election results on the go. You can do so at newsok.com. Also, complete election results race by race available at News OK.
Now, we also have video from the early voters from our friends down at the OU School of Journalism and from today's voting, all at News OK.
We will be back at 10 p.m. with another election update, including more analysis from Mark Green and Chris Castile in our Washington, D.C. Bureau. In the meantime, you can chat with Mark Green. Where else? At News OK.
See ya.